Hey everyone, and welcome to Blossom in Business, the podcast for all things beauty, business, mindset, and more. My name is Monique, and I am the owner of Royal Blossom Beauty, a beauty business based in Melbourne, Australia. I offer nail, lash, and brow services as well as nail and business education. I really hope you enjoy this episode, and let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. In this episode, I wanted to talk about deposits versus cancellation fees. So I'm going to talk about what the differences are, which one I recommend and how to go about it, and how much your cancellation fee or your deposit should be so you don't go broke. Now, if you're someone that's already running a business, or maybe you've purchased or booked from another business, you may know of something called a cancellation fee. You may have also seen it in places like doctors and hotels. They may also have a cancellation fee as well. So basically, it's a fee that you have to pay if you cancel within a certain period of time. So typically this may be a last minute cancellation. So especially in beauty, this is typically if you cancel your appointment within 24 hours of the service time. So I think a lot of places like doctors and stuff do cancellation fees as well instead of a deposit or a booking fee, because it's so much easier to kind of book someone in without trying to get an upfront payment. So that's why these places may opt for the cancellation fee over the booking fee. So there's no upfront fee, and it can be pretty simple and easy for someone to book an appointment with you. But there is a catch. So if that client was to cancel, you do have to try and get that fee. You do have to try and get that money off them. And they can make it almost impossible. So I personally don't use a cancellation fee, and I like the idea of it, but I think just the implementation of it just wouldn't work for me, because when you actually get into a situation where you do have to take that fee, it can get a little bit crazy and a little bit hard to capture it. Now, whether it's a beauty appointment, a medical appointment, there's usually some sort of set of policies where the client has to read and agree to them before they book, where they're supposed to be aware of those cancellation fees or a booking fee or anything like that. And they will obviously tick that box and say yes, but somehow when the time comes, and maybe they've cancelled last minute, they're too late, or they've no-showed, they're suddenly like, oh, I didn't know that I was meant to pay that. Like suddenly they just act like they didn't know, or like try and weasel their way out of it somehow. Now, the reason that I personally don't do cancellation fees is because in my experience, I have tried to charge deposits on people's cards before, not so much cancellation fees. And it's already so hard to get a deposit or a booking fee off a client's card when they know that it's coming out or when they're expecting it. I can only imagine how much harder it would be trying to get a cancellation fee off a client's card, regardless of whether or not they intend to pay it, but especially when they don't intend to pay it. So you may notice that not everyone keeps money on their card. So even if they intend to pay it, they may not even have the money on their card just yet. So it can be very hard, especially those that don't intend to pay it. They're going to make sure that there is never money on their card. So it doesn't matter whether you attempt to charge it at 9 a.m. or 2 a.m., it's constantly going to decline, because they only really transfer money when they need to actually buy something. So if they don't intend on paying that fee, you're never going to get it. And honestly, they're just such a hassle, so I don't really bother with them, but I do see the appeal. I see how to many clients and technicians, a cancellation fee does seem like the better option because there's no upfront payment. But when it comes to the situations, which may be rare for some people, but the situations where you do have to get that cancellation fee, it will be almost impossible to get it. So if you do decide to go down the cancellation fee route, I would recommend having a booking system that saves card details. So you don't have to make them pay anything upon booking, but they do have to insert their card details and they get saved on file. So when you do need to charge that fee, you can charge the card. And I find that better than trying to get the card details off the client, because privacy reasons, the client may not want to actually give you their card details, like to you. They might prefer to do it through a system. And for any clients watching this, we don't actually see your card number or anything like that on our system. We only see like the last 4 digits or something like that. So putting it on a booking system is completely safe. Like we don't see any of that. Just for those that may be clients that are watching this, we don't see any of your card information, but we can charge the card. And the reason why I recommend having a saved card on the booking system if you're planning to do cancellation fees is because, again, everyone's going to try and get out of paying it. But if you're someone that does bookings over messages and you have to charge a cancellation fee and you have to message them and ask them to pay it, there's no way you can actually pay it. They're just going to ignore you and leave you on red. Versus when you actually have the card, you can at least try to get it. You can at least charge it and see if it goes through. Because let's be real, if you don't have their card details and you message them saying you now owe this money, they're not going to pay it. They're really not going to pay it. Unless they're like the kindest of kind clients, maybe they'll pay it. But because you don't have their card details, there's no way for you to actually get it. You just have to trust that they would actually go out of their way and pay it. And if they don't pay it, there's not really much you can do about it. You kind of just have to count your losses and go on with your day. But if you put their card on a booking system and it's saved, you have a better chance. Next, we have the other option, which is a deposit or a booking fee. So I kind of use the terms interchangeably because it's going to depend on where you are in the world, what you can actually call it. So I know a lot of people in Australia, they call it a deposit, but technically if you're not planning on giving that money back 100% of the time, which in the case that you have last minute cancellations, you may choose to keep that money. You technically can't call it a deposit, you have to call it a booking fee. So when I say booking fee, I really just mean deposit, so don't get confused. It's not like an additional payment or anything like that. It's the same kind of thing as you guys probably know already, just a prepayment of some of the amount, some of the total. It's just paid in advance. It's not an extra fee or anything like that. But I'm pretty sure on the ACCC, it says that you have to call it a booking fee. So make sure you change your policies. It's a booking fee, not a deposit. But basically this is a amount that is taken off the total of the service. So it's just a prepayment. It's a small portion of the total cost of the service on the day that's just paid a little bit in advance. It's not any extra fee. Now there's a few ways that you can take a deposit or a booking fee, and it's just going to depend on how your business is set up, like whether or not you take bookings over messages or whether or not you have a booking system. So I love a good booking system. I'll probably do a whole episode on booking systems as a whole because I just love them so much. Could not live without it. That is honestly the easiest way to do it, because with a booking system, you set it up so that when they go to book an appointment, they cannot physically book the appointment until they pay the fee. That way, when they book, there's already a fee attached. No trying to chase up the deposit or the booking fee. It's already there, it's done, they're booked in, and they've got that fee paid. Versus again, with the cancellation fee, nothing's paid. If they cancel, you're going to have to chase it up. And if you are doing deposits or booking fees over messages, it's just going to make life so much harder. So I personally recommend a booking system. I use Avatu, that's the one I swear by at the moment. I have a little referral link, so I'll leave that in the description. But yeah, I highly recommend a booking system. Pretty much almost all of them take a booking fee, so should be no stress with that, just set that up. And I will go into very soon how much you should charge for that. But that is the way that I recommend doing it, through a booking system. Now let's say for whatever reason you can't afford a booking system, even though I would highly recommend it and just add it to your service cost because it is so worth it. If for whatever reason you don't want a booking system right now and you're taking bookings over messages or anything like that, it can be a little bit trickier, and I will tell you exactly how I recommend to take the payment. So I wouldn't recommend bank transfer, because if you do bank transfer, it could take a few days to go in, and you're not sure if they even paid it or not. They could say they've paid it, but you don't know because it hasn't gone through yet. So I don't recommend bank transfer. If you're going to do anything, my top recommendation is a payment link. So you can make one through Square and Stripe, I'm pretty sure as well. So it's just a link that you send them with the exact amount that they have to pay, and you just send them the link and they click on it and pay. But of course, with those payment providers, obviously a small fee, but you'd pay that fee if you had a booking system anyways. Another option is Pay ID, which they put your phone number or your email in and it goes straight into your bank account. So unlike a bank transfer, it's a lot faster, it's usually instant. That way, if they've said they paid it, it should be in your account. So those are the two methods I would recommend, the payment link or Pay ID, not bank transfer. But one of the stresses that I had back when I did message bookings, which I refuse to do anymore, I absolutely hate it, is that clients don't understand the urgency, and you may tell them that they owe, a booking fee, but they don't pay it, or they don't pay it immediately. And it's like, do you reserve the time for them, reserve the spot for them? Do you not? Like, do you let someone else book it? Like, you have no idea what to do. So this is how I was doing it to make sure that I didn't waste any time, because people can say they want to book an appointment, they say they're happy to pay the booking fee, but then when you actually send them the details, they don't do it, or they take 3 days to do it, and you don't know whether or not they want the appointment. So you don't know whether or not to allow someone else to book it if someone else comes at the same time. Like, you just don't know what to do. So what I do is I give them a deadline. So this deadline is going to depend on how far in advance the appointment is. If it's like weeks away, I'll say just pay it within 24 hours. So I'll temporarily reserve that spot for them for 24 hours. Once 24 hours up, it will be open to other people to book. But if no one else has booked and it's still available, they can still pay it and I'll book it in for them. Or if it's more of a last minute booking, like maybe in the next couple of days, I will say in the next, could be 3 hours, 5 hours. I kind of allow a bit more time if it's in the middle of a work day. I might be by the end of the day, make sure that it's paid and I'll book it in for you. Because you don't want to reserve an appointment for a long period of time and then they don't end up paying it, they don't end up booking, and then you've lost the potential to book in someone else in that spot. So If you are going to take bookings over messages and you are going to take booking fees, I highly recommend having some sort of deadline, because you'd be surprised for the amount of clients that say they want to book in, and then as soon as you give them the payment details, they absolutely ghost you. So definitely have a deadline and have an easy way for them to pay. But again, my top recommendation is to have a booking system. Makes your life so much easier. There's all different ones out there. Again, I know it's a monthly fee, and I know people are like, oh, $50 a month, like how am I going to afford that? Just increase your prices to account for that. And it doesn't have to be a large amount. It can literally be like 50 cents each client. Like you can literally increase 50 cents depending on how many clients you do a month to cover the cost of that system. If you think about it in that perspective, like how many clients you're doing per month, it's actually not that expensive. So just think about it that way. Now, I have tried so many different ways to get booking fees or deposits in the past, especially for the clients that pre-book like a few appointments in advance. I would always feel so bad and so guilty. I was like, why do they have to pay a booking fee for an appointment that's 3 months away? Because I know not everyone has like an immediate stash of cash, like not everyone has like a lot of money in their account. Some people are paycheck to paycheck. And I was trying to be very understanding of that and very considerate of that. So I have tried alternate ways to get booking fees later. Book them in and then get the booking fee a little bit later, but still before the appointment. And I tried so many different ways. At first I was sending Square invoices to clients. If they had an appointment that was like 2 months away, maybe like 2 weeks before, I'd be like, here's your invoice for your booking fee, please pay this. And it sent like automatic reminders and things like this. They wouldn't pay it. I would have some that would pay it, some that would pay it like 5 days late. And I even had one that paid it the morning of their appointment. And I was like, yep, this ain't working for me, because I'm leaving it up to them to click on the email and pay it. And it just wasn't working. So that's gone. Don't do that. And then the other option I had, again, because I was feeling bad for people having to pay multiple booking fees in advance if they're booking multiple appointments in advance, I had another option, which was I would make everyone have a saved card on my booking system. And 2 weeks before, I would charge their saved card to get the booking fee off. But the day before I would charge the card, I would send a reminder like, hey, this person, like this much is coming out of your account tomorrow to pay for the booking fee for this appointment on this date, blah, 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 blah. But I was doing that all manually. So you can imagine having to send a reminder to every single client the day before and actually charge the card the day of, which did decline for a lot of clients. Not every client, but again, not every client keeps money in their account. Even if they were intending to pay it, they might not keep money in their account, so it declines. And then I have to send another message saying it declined, and I'll try again the next day. Then I'll try again the next day, and it would still decline. I'd send another message, and that was just a whole lot of admin for me that I didn't need to do. I really didn't. So, you know what I did? I just said, everyone books online. I'm not booking anyone else in manually. Everyone books online. And there's pros and cons. Like I would say the cons is that my clients aren't booked as far in advance because not everyone can afford the multiple booking fees. But the pros is that everyone that has an appointment has paid the booking fee. I don't have to chase anyone up. I don't have to send reminders and charge cards and add an extra 20 minutes of admin to my day every single day. That's just what's worked for me. So I am 100% online booking only, apart from close friends and family, 100% online booking. That makes my life so much easier. Same with rescheduling, cancelling, all that online. Easy done. I still get the occasional message to reschedule and cancel, which I'll do, but a lot of it can easily be done online, which is super easy. And again, the booking fee, it isn't an extra charge. It's no sneaky way to get more money. It comes off the total cost. It's not extra money, it's just insurance. It's just a way to protect our income. And again, there are pros and cons to both cancellation fees and booking fees. You don't have to do what I do. You can literally do whatever works best for you, whatever works best for your business, whatever aligns with you, wherever the spirit moves you, just do that. Now, what I want to talk about is how much your booking fees or cancellation fees should actually be. Because let's say you're an LTech, if your booking fee is $20, it's not high enough. And let me tell you why. Because if you have even a 1 hour, let's say it was a 1 hour appointment, right? Let's say, I don't know minimum wage off the top of my head. I think it's around $25. I could be wrong. But let's say minimum wage was $25. If that client cancelled last minute for their 1 hour appointment and you only had $20, that is less than minimum wage per hour. So you're getting $20 for that hour. Even though you didn't work, you still have expenses and you still have your time. So you are actually going to be working at a loss, only charging that $20 for that hour that you lost. Now I know what you may be thinking, but Monique, they didn't show up. I didn't work. You still have expenses, you still lost your time, and if you wanted to earn a certain amount of money per week, you're now going to have to add an extra spot later in the week to fit in another client and hope that they show up too. And if you had several clients canceling in a week and you still only had that $20 booking fee, you're probably going to go broke. Like, that's just like the truth. Like, I'm sorry, I can't sugarcoat it, but you'll probably go broke, realistically. And I know what you may be thinking, but Monique, they didn't show up. What expenses do I have? I didn't use any product. But there's more expenses than just the product. If you think about it, your business name registration, your council registration, your monthly insurance, your monthly booking system fee, any other like ongoing fees and things that you have, they still come out of your bank account, regardless of whether all your clients show up or none of them show up. You still have to pay them. So yes, you didn't use any product, you didn't physically perform the service, but you still have all these ongoing expenses, and you lost that spot that you could have given to someone more reliable because they cancelled last minute, they were too late, or they didn't show up altogether. So yeah, if you don't have a booking fee or the one that you have is not priced correctly, you're going to struggle, and that's just the harsh truth. So again, I recommend having your booking fee high enough that covers not only the time, at least minimum wage for the time, plus the expenses that are ongoing. So your insurance, your business name registration, council registration, booking system fees, things that you would have to pay regardless of whether or not that client showed up. That is what I recommend at bare minimum, absolute bare minimum, right? So you can charge more than that, but you need to keep in mind that it has to be reasonable. So as it says on the ACCC, you can't charge 100% for a service that was not completed. And whatever you do choose to charge, it could be more than 50% or more than whatever amount that you want to do. And whatever amount that you do want to charge, it does have to be reasonable. So it has to reasonably cover your time and your expenses and things like that. Cover the loss that you would have because you don't have that client. And I know realistically, it is a big loss regardless, because we could have gotten, the full payment. Now we're just getting the booking fee, but it has to be reasonable enough to cover your time and your expenses. So you can't charge 100% for a service that did not happen. So for me, with my business and my pricing, 50% works well for me. That's just based on my pricing. With your pricing, if it's a bit lower, you may need to have a higher percentage. If it's a bit higher, you may get away with a lower percentage. It just depends on your timings and your overall expenses as well. So for me, with my services, I find on most clients, I take maybe an hour, 45 minutes to 2 hours on my returning clients. I take my time, I don't rush. Not to say that people that are faster are lower quality, but I like to take my time and give the most high quality service that I can. So my timings are a little bit longer than some other people out there, but it also means that I have to charge my work and my booking fees accordingly. So my full price for like a repeat client is around $115. So that is about an hour and 45 minutes. But let's just use an example of $120 for a 2-hour appointment, right? So let's say $120 for a 2-hour appointment, which is a 50% booking fee of $60. Let's say that client didn't show up, right? So for that 2 hours, I would have $60. Let's say minimum wage was $25. So for those 2 hours, I would need $50 to at least get me minimum wage. And then I'd have $10 to spare that would go towards my expenses, so insurance, council registration, business name registration, booking system, the actual fee that I got charged on the booking fee that they did make by my booking system. That's another one that people forget about as well. Plus the time that went into actually setting up for their appointment and now having to clean up after their appointment and reset it for the next client. There's so many factors that go into that. So that is like bare minimum that I would have. Bare minimum covers minimum wage for that time, not any profit, no, nothing like that. You don't need to profit off your booking fees, but at the very least, it needs to cover your time and your expenses if that client did not show up. So you don't need to charge for product, you don't need to, profit off them. Again, it's still not as good as having that $120, but at least it covers at least minimum wage and some of the expenses. So if you're charging a $20 booking fee for a 2-hour appointment, I don't know what to tell you, but I hope this episode gives you a lot more insight into why you shouldn't be doing that and you make the decision to increase that amount. Now it's up to you. You can choose to have a fixed amount for your booking fee. That can be just $50 regardless of what the appointment is, or just, $45 regardless of what the appointment is, or you can have a percentage. So for me, 50% works better than having a fixed amount because I offer all different services. Again, I offer nails, lashes, and brows. And based on my timings and my full pricing, 50% actually covers the time regardless of what service I'm doing. So for example, a brow wax. $25, 25 minutes. If they don't show up, I get $12.50 for like 25 minutes. That probably brings me about to minimum wage. We've also got, for example, an acrylic removal. I charge $60 for an acrylic removal because some people come in with MMA-based acrylic that does not soak off. And sometimes, sometimes I can get it off in 20, 30 minutes. Sometimes I need an entire hour to get it off. So my timing is 60 minutes, $60. If they don't show up, I still have the $30, which covers, like, let's say minimum wage is $25, covers a $25 minimum wage, and then I have $5 towards expenses. So 50% based on my timings and based on my pricing, that works well for me. But again, you may choose to have a fixed rate, or you may need to adjust your percentage based on what your full prices are, based on what your times are as well. But I just want to make something super clear. If you intend to have any sort of booking fee, cancellation fee, anything like that, you need to make sure your policies are super clear. You need to make it super clear. When is last minute? You can't just say, you lose the booking fee or you get charged cancellation fee because of a last minute cancellation. When exactly is it classed as a last minute cancellation? Is it 2 hours before, 24 hours before, 48 hours before? How late is too late? Can they be 5 minutes late and still come? Or can they be 15 minutes late and still come? You need to be very, very clear. So I'm going into 6 years very soon with my business, and this is just what's worked best for me. So for my booking fees, it's only if they give less than 24 hours notice that I terminate it, that they don't get it back. So 24 hours notice is all that I need. Recently, I have just changed it a little bit. I've added a little tweak. So for the longest time, it was, at least 24 hours notice, you can get it refunded, no stress. Now I've kind of adjusted it because I feel like I get the occasional cancellation on that exact 24-hour mark. The way that I've tweaked it is, again, if they cancel within 24 hours, they don't get it back, it's gone, it's evaporated, it's gone. But if they still cancel within 48 hours, but they give more than 24 hours notice, they don't get it back, but they can keep it as credit. Because I feel like completely losing it, 48 hours is still not a lot of time, but it's better than 24 hours, of course. But it's still not ideal. So I just put it as credit. And the clients, which majority of mine are repeat clients, they do intend on coming back. So there's no issues whatsoever. It's just kept as credit instead of a refund. But more than 48 hours notice, then they can do whatever they like with it. They get it back, whatever. But if they still want to keep it as credit, they can. But yeah, I will just give it back. With no shows, it's obvious they don't show up. It's a no show. Easy. With lateness, so one thing that you really need to keep in mind is the timings of your services. So if you just offer the one thing, like nails, lashes, whatever, it's pretty easy. But me offering nails, lashes, and brows, I can't just say, if you're 15 minutes late, it's cancelled, because my brow wax is 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So if I kept my 15-minute cancellation policy for my brow waxes as well, if a client's 15 minutes late to a 20-minute brow wax, 3/4 of the appointment is gone. So it just doesn't work like that. So when you offer multiple services, especially with huge differences in time, it can make it a little bit trickier. So with my lateness policies, mine is 15 minutes for almost every appointment. And even being 10, 15 minutes late, it can still throw me off a lot, but not too much. And even sometimes if they are a bit more than 15 minutes late, especially for those longer appointments, I probably can still do it in full. I'll just be a bit more rushed. I still might let them come in, but I won't make any guarantees that the set will be finished or anything like that. But because I do have some smaller services like brow waxes that are only 20, 25 minutes, I have different policies. So for any appointment that's less than 30 minutes long, they can't be any more than 5 minutes late, because then that will throw off the appointment so much, because it's majority of the appointment's gone. Even if it's a 30-minute appointment, if they're 15 minutes late, half of that appointment is gone. So I have two different timings depending on how long the service is. So again, you can choose what timing works best for you. I feel like 15 minutes works best for those longer appointments, because I find just naturally so many people come 5 minutes late, and a fair few do come around 10 minutes late. It's not very often anyone would come 15 minutes late, so that's typically my cutoff. And I like to keep that in mind when choosing my overall service time. So my service times are longer, and it's not only because I allow a little bit more time just to not rush, but also because I allow time for that occasional 5-10 minute late client. I don't want to be super rushed. And I know as a small business owner, it can be a little bit hard or scary to try and charge a cancellation fee or a booking fee, but you just have to remember it's not an additional charge. We're not ripping off our clients. We are purely just protecting our income. That's all we're doing. We're not trying to scam them for more money. We are just protecting our own income. Because if you need a certain amount of money per week, if you're living paycheck to paycheck and you need that certain amount per week, if you have a client cancel and you have no booking fee or cancellation fee, you're not able to get it, or the one that you have is not high enough, you're going to struggle. It's not going to work out. And that's only if one person doesn't show up or cancels. Imagine if multiple did. You just need to keep that in mind, especially if you don't want to spend your whole life working, because otherwise you're going to have to end up adding another spot and hope that that person shows up just to make back that money that you lost from that client that didn't show up. So if you don't want to work all night and day and you maybe have other commitments or you have kids or anything like that, it's not ideal. So you need to make sure you have these policies in place. Let me give you a little scenario. Let's pretend that you are a mum and your kids are a little bit older, so you do tend to work a bit more. Maybe say you work Monday to Friday, 9 till 3, or whatever you work. And given that all your clients show up, that is enough money for you to pay your bills, pay school stuff, and take your kids out every now and then. This is just imaginary scenario. But let's say one doesn't show up, right? You either don't charge a booking fee or the booking fee you have is not enough. You can't pay for your food that week. You have to work extra hours, longer hours, whether it's into the evening or into your weekend, to try and fit in another client and hope that they show up so that you can make that money, so you can pay for everything that you need to pay for to support yourself and support your children. And adding that extra appointment in is taking away the time that you should have with your kids or your family or for yourself. So I hope that puts it a little bit more into perspective as to why they're so important. So important. It's not about trying to get more money off of clients. It's not about trying to profit off of clients, being in situations where they just can't come. It's just about protecting your income. That's all there is to it. They aren't to punish the client. They are to protect you and your business. And what I've noticed based on experience is having, especially that 50% booking fee, I've actually attracted better clients. I've attracted more reliable clients. My clients almost never cancel last minute. They almost never no-show. And if they do no-show, I ban them. That's just what I do. And they're almost never late. They won't commit to a time that they can't do because they know that they're going to lose that 50%. My clients are more reliable and they respect me so much more for having these policies in place. And if a client isn't willing to pay a booking fee, they're probably not willing to come. That's just the truth. If they're not willing to pay a booking fee, they're probably not planning to come anyways. And if you're stressing and you're like, Monique, I don't want to lose any of my clients. I want to do a booking fee or cancellation fee, but I don't want to lose any clients. If you lose any clients, those aren't the clients for you anyways. You'll attract so much better, more reliable, more respectful clients by implementing these policies into your business. Anyways, I hope you guys found this episode super helpful and you learned something. If you have any questions or want any advice or anything like that, feel free to comment if you're watching on the YouTube video, or you can just send me a DM at Royal Blossom Beauty and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Again, check the requirements for where you are in the world. Check the ACCC if you're in Australia. Have a little read up on that. But yeah, I hope you found this episode super valuable and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for listening to this episode of Blossom in Business. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love if you could give the video a thumbs up on YouTube or rate the podcast 5 stars on Spotify. If you don't want to miss an episode, make sure to hit the notification bell so you get notified every single time a new episode drops. If you want to follow along on my journey, make sure to follow me on socials at Royal Blossom Beauty. And if you have any requests for certain topics or story times or anything else you want covered on the podcast, or you want to apply to be a guest speaker, click the link in my description and you'll be taken to my website with all the information. And I'll see you in the next episode.